Everyone.
Hello, welcome to Girls Gabbin.
Yes, thank you all.
My name is Lisa Duff Washington,
And I'm Andrea Riley.
and we are here for another Sunday on Girls Gabbin. We have been celebrating women all month long, and we actually themed this month the wonderment of the woman.
Yeah.
So all month long, we've been having women of all genres doing all kinds of things. Today is about the community and how you all are giving back and just making your mark. So we're excited to have two more wonderful guests in the studio. Today is actually St. Patrick's Day.
yes.
So for all
Some of
those that are
us.
not wearing their green, there's a pinch coming.
So yellow and blue makes green.
That's it. I like that. I like that. See, that's why you're here. So somebody better be taking some notes. They didn't know that. So yeah, we're celebrating
Blend them
St. Patrick's
together.
Day. Yeah. So we are excited about having you all join us and share a little bit about you. But is there anything like a hot topic going on you want to share?
Well, since this is International Women's Month, of course, I have a hot topic of women that are making history. And ironically enough, Touraine, I actually got this from your page, and it intrigued me so much. But I wanted to share with you all about Ida Keeling. Ida Keeling owns world records, and now she's earned something more, an honorary ESPY award, which she received on The View. The 103-year-old running phenomenon took the running world by storm in 2016 when she broke the 100 and over world record for the 100-meter dash in 1 minute and 17.33 seconds.
Wow.
To celebrate, she dropped to the track to do push-ups.
Ooh.
So that was when she was 100. Now at 103, she is still running strong, and she recently captured the record for the 60-meter dash in February. Miss Keeling discovered running late in her life. She was 67 when she started.
Wow.
She had sunk into depression is what led her to it after losing 2 adult sons to unsolved cases of drug-related violence. So to cope, she turned to running thanks to her daughter, Shelley, who is a health school track field and cross-country coach, and it turned out to be her best medicine. So on July 17th, Miss Keeling appeared as a guest on The View, to where she shared her inspiring story, her secrets to running longevity, and a little about her new book, Can't Nothing Bring Me Down. So Miss Ida Keeling, we salute you and celebrate you this
Absolutely.
International Women's Month, as you are truly a woman making a mark in history.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
So I have
Awesomeness.
until 67 to start.
You know, we out.
It's not happening right
Running.
now. I can walk a little bit, but
I'm with you on the wall.
and I'm out on the push-ups. I'm not doing no push-ups, okay?
And
That'll
she
be over
dropped
one.
down each time. So,
That is
yes.
amazing.
So-
So we're gonna kind of get into it. I don't know if we're gonna open up the lines, but
We are working on that, so once
yes.
we get the okay, we will open
we'll
up the
just
lines.
shout out the number so that you all can
Absolutely.
call in and ask questions when they're watching us and check you all out. So,
All right.
Andrea?
So I would like to share with you all Miss Touraine Lynch.
Hello.
Born in New York and raised in Georgia, a true Southern belle.
Absolutely.
As chairman of the Enchanting Women Foundation, a nonprofit association headquartered in the nation's capital, Touraine spends much of her time raising funds and support for her devoted charity. Touraine considers the foundation the voice of women, and according to her motto, are enchanting, charming, inspirational, divine, sophisticated, mentors, enticing, and positive leaders. Its mission is to provide services to disadvantaged teens, battered women, and the homeless. The foundation doesn't stop there. Enchanting Women also promotes women-owned businesses in their own Women of the Month Spotlight segment. Female authors are also showcased with their literature in a Bookalicious boutique section in the foundation's well-visited website. In 2002, Touraine's life had taken a serious turn for the worse, unfortunately. Touraine had been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer. As a strong soldier, she knew a fierce battle must be fought to overcome this enemy to her body and soul. With determination and fortitude, and most of all her faith, Touraine conquered the adverse chemotherapy and stem transplant procedures. In the darkest moments during her loss of speech, Touraine vowed to commit herself to help the less fortunate, and the battle was won. With the same effort, she had refueled powerful aircrafts that required her skillful and dedicated attention in the Army. Ms. Lynch now provides the well-needed spirit to the souls that requires rekindling to deal with everyday life with enchantingwomen.com. A veteran of the Army, a cancer survivor, a glam mom, and currently holds the crown of Miss Adams Morgan, Touraine continues to stay focused on the community, giving back one opportunity after another. I am pleased to welcome Ms. Touraine.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. So tell us a little bit about your foundation. I know
Okay.
I emphasize what it stands for, but give us the in-depth about it.
Absolutely. So in 2000, I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a cancer of the lymphatic system. And I was in the United States Army at Fort Stewart, and I was running 5 miles a day. I was healthy and everything. And then one day I had sharp pains in my chest, and I went to the doctor and found out that I had cancer. And at the time, I was given less than 6 months to live. But God spared my life,
That's right.
and I'm
That's
here.
right.
So I told God that if you would deliver me from this cancer, I'll do whatever it is that you need me to do. And He gave me a vision, and the vision was to serve those that are less fortunate than most of us out here today. And what people don't realize is that there are a lot of women that are homeless. Nowadays, they don't like to say that they're homeless. They like to say that they're displaced. And so God gave me the vision. I started the foundation, and I would provide services to disadvantaged women and teens. A few years ago, I had to take a break from it, but I still have a benevolent heart. I still help other organizations, and anybody that needs my assistance, I'm there to help them. And I just feel like you have to be your sister's keeper, because you never know when you're going to fall down on hard times. It happens to the best of us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about the military. Because based on what I just heard, okay, you know some things. So share with us.
So I lived in Georgia,
Okay.
a little country town. I wanted to get away, and I'm just going to be honest with you all. I wanted to get away from Brunswick, Georgia, and I still love Brunswick, Georgia. Everybody who's listening, I still love it. But I needed to better myself, and so I joined the military, and I always wanted to go to Korea. I went to Korea. My first duty station, my job was 77 Fox. I refueled aircrafts. Can you believe that?
Wow.
I really didn't like that job, but you have to be honest, you know. And I ended up getting cancer from that particular job, working with all the fuel and everything.
Okay.
But I would not take anything back, because had I not went through what I went through, I wouldn't be here today to help other people and tell my story about how God saved my life.
Absolutely.
So yes, I love the military. I wanted to go to drill school, but right before my officer was going to sign off the paperwork, I was diagnosed with the cancer.
Okay.
And then I had to be medically retired, because they only gave me 6 months to live, but I'm here today.
Right. Amen. So when did this happen? What year was that?
In 2000.
2000.
And I'm here today
Okay.
to tell
That's
the story.
right.
We're going to have a 20-year celebration.
Yes.
Next year.
Absolutely. Yes.
That's right.
So you went from military to wearing this beautiful crown.
Yes.
So, and that's actually your journey currently. That's what you're doing, because you talked a little bit.
Yeah.
But share it with
My
us
background
about
is
that.
actually government contracts, cradle to grave. So once my health came back and everything, I worked in government contracts, and then from there, I just started doing my own thing.
Okay. So tell us about this pageant coming up.
Oh my God. So, I'm so excited, a little taken back by everything that's going on with it. And I was contacted, told that, hey, I should give this a shot. And I thought, I'm too old for this. I'm 45 years old. I don't call myself a grandmother, but I call myself a glam mom.
Okay.
And so, I'm trying out I'm actually Miss Adams Morgan, DC, running for Miss DC. So I'm praying that, hey, I can make my parents happy and make my son smile. So I'm going to give it a shot.
Absolutely. We're wishing you the best with that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Now, what does that all entail? So when you become Miss DC, what will you be taking on? What's your responsibilities, if any?
A lot of community service
Okay.
work, just being out in the community, voicing, my platform, which is homeless women in the DMV area. So that will help me out, help me get the word out.
Right.
I feel like when you have a platform, you have to use your voice to, let people know what's going on in the community.
So is there something you have to do to prepare for? I can never do that. I'm just like, no, I can't. I would fall down the road, whatever. But is there something you have to do to prepare for being in a pageant?
Yes, I'm in the gym every day.
Okay.
Watching the news so I can be at risk of politics. Practicing the walk.
Is that hard?
I don't think the walk is hard.
The walks, well, it would be hard for me, but
I think the hardest part for me, the most difficult part would be the questions. You just don't know what they're going to ask you, and you have to be prepared. You have to be able to answer it, without offending. So answer the questions tactfully, without offending other people's feelings.
So do they give you, and I'm just being nosy, do they give you the questions up front, or is this something that you'll have to just answer like on the fly?
Well, they do give you example questions. There's like 100 of them.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that range is huge, right?
Yeah, so you really don't know what they're going to ask.
Okay.
So you just really have to be prepared and talk about yourself, your bio, and your platform.
Okay.
So where will the pageant be taking place?
It's going to be April 14th.
Okay.
7 p.m. at the JFK Center. So that's great. Big shout out to Raquel Raleigh. She's the head lady of this. Yeah, she's amazing.
Her name is very familiar to me.
Oh, yes. She's amazing.
And so, where did you draw your strength from when you found out that you had cancer? I mean, that's a lot. Yeah. And you being, still to me young and having to, take this on. Where did you draw that strength from to just push through?
Had it not been for my parents and my ex-husband, I don't think I would have made it. My parents, they really are into the Word of God.
Okay.
And at the time, I was married. And my husband, he was by my side, through everything. And although we're divorced, I do have to give him credit for being by my side when I went through that. And I continue to have my parents, they continue to pray for me every day. And I thank God every day for my life, because I remember there was a time when I couldn't walk by myself. I couldn't talk by I had to write things down. And I was totally dependent on everybody. So I know what it feels like to be completely humbled and have somebody have to sit there and watch you, It's a very humbling experience. Right. And so when people look at you and they want to judge you, it's like, you don't even know what I've been through.
Right.
I've been through hell and back. And I just thank God for allowing me to go through that, because it did humble me as a woman. It gave me compassion towards other people.
I do too. That is awesome.
But I have one question for you. I don't know if Andre, I was just going to ask you, what would you, to young ladies coming up, what kind of advice would you give for them based on what you went through, as far as building up your strength to be ready for whatever comes, pageantry, whatever it is? What advice would you give the young ladies that are trying to just do something with their lives?
I would tell a woman that no matter what you're going through, just continue to keep fighting through, because see, there's always a brighter side. Bad times won't last forever, just like the good times won't. But you have to continue to keep fighting. You have to have a strong faith in God. And if God gave you a vision, He's going to give you provision. You got to take a leap of faith and just step out there and never give up and believe in yourself, even if nobody else does.
This too shall pass,
That's right. Absolutely. That's right. Is there any way that people can reach out to you to help support your organizations?
Actually, right now I am kind of put mine on hold, and I'm just helping everybody else. I have a lot going on right now with this pageant stuff, so I'm kind of focused on that right now.
So can they follow you in your pageant world on your
Absolutely.
Facebook page?
On Facebook, and they can find me.
On Facebook?
Touraine Lynch is my name, and you spell it Touraine, last name Lynch, Lynch.
Okay. What about Instagram?
And Instagram, it's Sergeant Lynch, and it's SGTLYNCH.
Okay, Sergeant.
That's right.
And you have a website as well, or
no
website. Okay.
So we would definitely follow you and help you get that win. What can we do to help you get the win?
What can we do?
Well, you guys can come on out.
I was going to say, can people just come out? Do they purchase tickets?
Yes, you can purchase tickets, and I can send you all the link and everything like that.
Because we'll post it on our page as well, so that people can definitely leave them with you.
You
Yes,
gonna
and
bring
maybe,
home that
and maybe
win.
you all can interview Raquel Raleigh.
Absolutely. We would love to.
Yes,
Well,
absolutely.
Touraine, thank you so much.
Thank you all for having me. I appreciate it.
You are truly a blessing.
Thank
Keep sharing that shine, as we always say, because you're just exuberating it. I mean, everything that you're touching, just continue to do so. Just keep being involved in the community. Those pageants have that. You got this.
All right,
You
thank
got
you.
this. So just carry on with it. Okay.
Thank you.
Well, we're going to move right on along to the Honorable Aisha. And I don't know if you want me to say your middle name. It's N. Okay. Braveboy.
Well, I can say my middle name now. You can't ask me what it means.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
It's two Swahili words that my mother put together. It's Nazapa, but she has since forgotten what the words are. So I have this really odd middle name, and I have
Can't
no
really
clue
explain it, right?
why it's my middle
But
name.
it's
But
yours.
but it's mine, and
That's
I embrace
right.
it.
That's right.
Aisha N. Braveboy, because I'm going to leave that alone, is the state's attorney for Prince George's County, Maryland. Aisha is the daughter of an immigrant from Grenada and is an accomplished lawyer with nearly 2 decades of legal and legislative experience. Prior to being elected as state's attorney, she served as the manager of government affairs for Children's National Health Systems, was also counsel with Gabriel J. Christian and Associates, where she represented clients in criminal and civil matters. And in addition, Aisha, for over 17 years, served as general counsel for the Community Public Awareness Council, which is known as CPAC.
Yes.
Okay. A community-based juvenile diversionary program that has successfully diverted over 4,000 students from the criminal justice system. That's phenomenal. In 2006, Aisha was elected to represent the 25th Legislative District in the Maryland General Assembly. As a delegate, Aisha was appointed by the Speaker of the House to serve as chair of the Consumer Protection Subcommittee and was elected by her peers to serve as chair of the Legislative Black Caucus of Maryland, where she guided the 44-member organization on a wide range of policy issues, including parity for historically black colleges and universities, reducing mass incarceration, enhancing tools to prosecute rapists, increasing opportunities for women, minority-owned businesses, and reducing health disparities in our state. Aisha was recognized as a rising star by Super Lawyers magazine and received both the Legal Excellence and Community Service Awards from the J. Franklin Bourne Bar Association and the President's Award from the National Bar Association. Additionally, Aisha has also fought for homeowners who were victimized by their lenders and facing foreclosure, seniors subject to financial abuse from their housing cooperatives, and a same-sex couple who face discrimination from their neighborhood association. In another case, she saved a historic African-American home that was moments away from being demolished. Aisha is a graduate from Howard University School of Law and a member of the Sanctuary at Kingdom Square and Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. Her motto for the office under her administration is that crime is personal. Personal to the victim, personal to the community, and personal to the state's attorney's office. Please welcome Aisha N. Braveboy.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you
Oh
so
my
much.
goodness. Yes, welcome. So I have to ask, because I was taken back, you saved a historic African-American home.
Yes.
That was moments from being demolished. What's that?
Well, now this was really high drama, so you'll love the story. You'll love the story.
Right, that's what we need.
So I get a call. I was I was a state delegate at the time, and it was actually close to the end of session, which is our busy season. And I get a call from a member of the Southern Christian Leadership Council out in Baltimore.
Okay.
And they told me that there was a historic African-American home that was owned by a woman whose family had owned that home for close to 100 years, which is really, if you look at just with slavery and the lack of a lot of opportunities for African Americans to own and for African American women to own property, period. This home had been in her family for nearly a century, and it was actually owned by her great aunt. So this was an African American female-owned property for nearly 100 years. The NAACP back in the days of the Civil Rights Movement would actually meet there, so that it had more historical context. And it was housed in Aberdeen. Now, I really had only been to Aberdeen like maybe once or twice. I'd never been to the courts in Aberdeen, but I get a call on a Friday, and the gentleman tells me that the following Monday this home is scheduled to be demolished. So I get a call Friday afternoon. And there's so there's really nothing I can do until the courts open. Now, I worked over the weekend to write a motion because we needed an injunction to enjoin the city from demolishing this home. So I said, look, you know, I know how these demolition jobs are done. They usually get there really early in the morning. Now, I cannot tell you all what to do. But the court doesn't open until about 8:30, 9 o'clock. So if the demolition happens before I get into court, it's going to be moot. So the NAACP joined in with the SCLC and the community. And let's just say they provided a human gate around the property. I love this. And they let the demolition trucks and the sheriff. I think the sheriff was there as well, you know, to oversee what was happening. They told them, our attorney is getting an injunction, so hold up. So now, I hadn't gone into the courthouse yet, so I mean, but you know, they were very confident, and so I met with the judge, argued my motion, won the motion.
Wonderful. The
judge then calls the sheriff, because the sheriff had called him to find out what happened. And I love the judge. The judge said, "So you all are already there with the trucks? y'all ready to knock this thing down?" And I guess the sheriff said yes, and the judge said, "Not today." and so praise God. You know, I mean, I have to tell you that I didn't know these folks very well. I didn't know them at all, actually. The owner and her husband. I knew some of their supporters, but to this day the home still is there, and now they're working on getting it actually designated so that it has as a historic property, so that it will have the protections of other historic properties. But again, it's just a calling. You know, God called me to do this. This was the first time I'd ever done anything like this. And I was so grateful for the opportunity. I was a little nervous, you know, because I didn't want to fail. I wanted to make sure, you know, because I know how important it is to preserve our history. And I know that our history isn't always thought of as important. It's not talked about. It's not on a lot of, our history isn't on a lot of these historic tours. And so we have to fight like heck to preserve our history and to get others to acknowledge our history. And so I was grateful to be able to help.
That's wonderful. So this wasn't in the papers, the news?
Well, yes, in the local, I think it's the Aegis. It's called. It's in Aberdeen, so it was a more so Baltimore. It's a Baltimore focused newspaper. But yes, they definitely reported on it.
Yeah, because that.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, isn't that a movie or something?
Well, you know,
I mean,
Touraine can make me.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to write this down. The writer in me is feeling us. And I'm serious. That story needs to be told. I mean, that's the whole reason that we do this, is because our young people don't know and you just saved something that, you know, would have been lost. You know, it would just have been a story, not even proof. So that's
it would have just been
amazing.
a footnote.
And you are part of that. That's a big deal.
I'm very grateful.
That's
that's a
awesome.
big deal.
I mean, because we never knew about a Black-owned woman
Yeah, I didn't know
property in Aberdeen. I mean, we didn't know that.
Because I haven't been to Aberdeen.
I haven't been. I don't think I've ever been.
Accidentally. I think we drove too far and we were there. So.
And you can't remember what was there, right?
I just knew it said
Aberdeen.
but
Oh, that's okay. It's this
Oh,
one.
okay.
That's her phone.
Okay.
She's like, put me back on camera.
Yes,
I hear me. So, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask you because you're a lawyer and my sister's a lawyer and she graduated from law school at Howard. I was waiting for you to say Aisha.
Aisha?
I knew it was I went to Spelman, so we fuss all the time.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to give her an opportunity.
Not everyone can go to Howard.
And my mom and my sister wouldn't love you, okay? Yes, and I don't know, you all might end up knowing each other, but what made you want to become a lawyer?
Well, you know what? This is another great story of another powerful woman who influenced my life. I had no idea what I wanted to do when I went to college. I majored in life for the most part. For the first 3 years, I had good grades, but I wasn't focused. I didn't know what I wanted to be.
Right.
So at some point, you know, my counselor said, "Oh, by the way, do you plan to actually graduate?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I'd like to do that." And,
I like to do that.
And then,
don't rush.
And he said, "Well, you actually need to have, you know, credits towards a degree, not just credits."
Right.
So I said, okay. So I said, well, what do I have the most credits in? Like, what degree, what path am I on already? Mm-hmm. So there were 2 different paths. One was sociology, and the other one was government and politics.
Okay.
And so I found out all of the courses I'd have to take for sociology. And then I decided to become a government and politics major. So there was a course being taught by Donna Brazil.
Oh my God.
And it was called Blacks and the Voting Rights Act.
Mm.
And so we read a lot of case law. Now, Donna is not a lawyer herself, but she did have a number of lawyers come and, you know, be guest lecturers in our class. But we read a lot of case laws around the Voting Rights Act and people were being denied the rights. And I was so intrigued by that. And I said, I want to go to law school. I want to be a lawyer. And years later, I happened to run into her, and I thanked her. I had the opportunity to thank her for influencing me, because it was, you know, when you meet people and they spark something in you, you know, it was very special, because I honestly was a little bit directionless back then. But then I stayed on that path and, you know, went to Howard, HU.
Yeah.
No? Okay. And I, you know, I've been practicing for, next year it'll be 20 years since I graduated.
I would have never guessed that.
Yeah.
You look too young to have practiced.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, I graduated when I was 10. I was
I know that's
Yeah, that was it.
So you do a lot with mass incarceration.
Yes.
Expound on that a little
So
bit.
I tried to make sure that we keep our young people out of the criminal justice system as best we can, because we don't want them to get comfortable with being institutionalized. We don't want that mindset to even be a part of their fabric, who they are. And what I've done for the past now, gosh, I guess 15, 16 years, is I was general counsel for the largest juvenile diversion program in the county. It still operates, even though I can no longer serve as general counsel. But we have really been able to intervene on so many lives, not just the young people, but also their families, because young people live in the context of families. And if the family is broken, oftentimes that young person is broken. But what I learned about young people is that they're also very resilient. So if you give them structure, you set expectations, and give them the tools they need to be successful, oftentimes they take the right path.
Right.
And so, but you know, a lot of our young people, they have mental health issues. Some are homeless. Some are dealing with violence. Either they're experiencing violence personally or they're witnessing it, whether it's in their homes or their communities, and it affects them. And it affects their impulse control, it affects their brain development, how they interface and interact with people. And so we have to understand that as adults, and make good decisions on their behalf when it comes to whether or not we can find other more appropriate placements for them, preferably outside the criminal justice system. And we've been able to do that. And for those young people who have completed our program, we've had about about a 94-95% success rate, which means these kids are not reoffending. Some of them come back to serve as mentors for the young people going through the program.
That is awesome.
And I just think it's the right thing to do. And now as state's attorney, I have an even greater opportunity to intervene in the lives of our young people. So we're partnering with Howard University School of Law and also Bowie State University.
I'm going to get Spelman in here.
Their school of social work, they're actually going to provide coaches and mentors for these young people with their students who are going through their program. So I'm just really excited about being able to expand our reach to young people.
Yes, because they need us. They need to see that we're there for them. So that's wonderful.
That is absolutely wonderful. So how can people reach out to you? I don't know if it's directly, but
well, yeah. I mean, we have a website which is it's associated with the Prince George's County's website, and we are also on social media. So you can find us at PGSAO News. Okay. On Twitter and on Facebook. Okay. I also have a personal Facebook. Personal Twitter account, which is just SA Braveboy. Okay. And I also have a personal Facebook, Aisha Braveboy. So I'm available, and we also are on Instagram as well.
Okay. I wanted to give you a chance too, because I saw that you went to Largo High School.
I sure did.
And I have some friends who went to Largo, and I know there's some Largo fans out there, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
So shout them out, because they'll be like, you didn't say you went to Largo.
Okay, first of all, I'm a lion through and through. I'm class of 92.
Okay.
My principal was Gordon Sampson. He was everybody's principal for a while. But I can tell you, my principal actually has helped me on all of my campaigns.
Really?
Yes, he has. He's been out there waving on the side of the road with
I know
me.
that's right.
Participating in parades. He comes to my fundraisers, and he's one of my biggest supporters.
That is wonderful.
And that's why I love Largo. We are a family, and it's great to see some of my colleagues or some of my classmates. Now I can see them as adults, and sometimes we interact, and it's really awesome. So yes, I'm Prince George's County. I'm a Prince George's County girl. I was actually born in D.C., and I lived there for about 5 years, but I spent most of my life in Prince George's County, and I just love it.
Yes, because I know with some people, friends and family who have gone through Largo. So
wonderful people.
Yeah.
Wonderful people.
There's competition there too, because I was born in D.C., but lived most of my life in Maryland. But when I left to live in Atlanta with my mom for a while, I came back and went to H.D. Woodson. Okay. So when it comes to family in high school, it's like, okay, but the Warriors. Okay. And I was just in D.C., so I was like, okay, well, the Warriors in the house. Okay, but I got to give it to the Largo family today. She's in here representing. Because and that's your foundation, which is, people don't realize, I know, they think, oh, once you go to college, then that's where it is. No, yeah, that's what it adds on to, but high school really framed me for
I agree.
Everything that I do. I will always go back to those people. Right. I don't want to let those people go. You know, I didn't even grab on to as many family members in Spelman because it's like y'all are taking my spots. Right. My family right here. So Spelman, yeah, I got y'all, but you know. So I mean, and I've heard a lot of good things about Largo, and actually Prince George's County produces a lot of really good folks.
I agree.
Yes.
We we were deemed like the wealthiest majority African American county in the country. And in many cases, it's not just this country that looks to us in terms of African Americans that are looking for opportunities. It's really around the world. They know about Prince George's County. So we have a special responsibility to represent everywhere we go.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And we're bringing it to this show today, definitely. Definitely. I am so glad you all joined us.
I am too.
Because this is what the wonderment of the woman is really all about. We wanted to shout out. Plus, it's Women's History Month, so we just, I mean, you put in the history of it, just the strength of a woman, the history of a woman. Everything is in. I mean, we just walk in billboards for the best of the best of the best. You
Absolutely.
know, so I really appreciate you. Yeah, I really appreciate you. I'm glad you all said yes to come in and join
we
us.
are.
You asked us to come out.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I feel like I've made new friends.
You
Absolutely.
have.
Oh, we didn't tell you were stuck, right?
Right.
Okay.
That's how we always end the show. So
But you can't go yet. We can't go yet.
Okay.
So we're going to keep you for an hour. No.
No.
No, but I really enjoyed, really having you on to share. You gave us some history that we never even heard of before. And so we're going to keep sharing this to everybody because they need to know things. Like, so the next time we have a situation, we know who to call.
We know who to call,
because
right?
you get it done through a weekend.
On a day off at that. Yes.
Moving right there. From Friday to early Monday morning, and you get people to stand in front and say, wait a minute, she doing her thing, just wait. That is powerful.
And I've always wanted to meet her, and I'm actually sitting in front. So
Yes.
I'm just like, look at God.
That's the first thing she said when she came in. She was like, oh, did I miss her? And I was like, no, she's joining us. She's coming with us. Yeah, she's sitting at the table with us.
I almost forgot. I do want you to mention Drive Safe Company.
Our drive.
Yeah.
It's called Drive Focused, Sober, and Safe. It's a campaign that we're launching. In the past 6 months, we have lost 51 people on our roadways. Over 40 crashes, fatal crashes, have occurred in Prince George's County.
Wow.
And a lot of it is due to impaired driving. And I can't stress enough, and this is the reality, if you get behind the wheel and you are impaired and you cause an accident and someone is injured or they are killed, we are coming after you. We have to prosecute you. We have to get justice for the victim and the next of kin and the community, because we cannot tolerate unsafe roadways. Now, we know that there are accidents that happen, and so we understand that, and that's just a part of the culture of driving, and it happens. But if you're impaired, if you're not focused on the road because you're distracted by your phone, we have to send the message to our community, and we will, through prosecution and also through education. And that's why we're launching this campaign, and we hope that you can join us for it. It's going to be on April 27th, not too far from here at the South County Regional Tech and Rec Center off of Bach Road. I believe it's 7707 Bach Road. And it's a Maryland National Capital Park and Planning facility. So we're having it at the gym there. It's open to everyone in the community. We'll have vendors there. We'll have government agencies there. We'll have a panel of experts that can answer any question that you might have around motor vehicle related incidents, whether it's due to impaired driving, distracted driving. The other thing we need to send a message home about, which I honestly didn't realize people weren't doing, is buckling up when they're in the car. People are still
don't. Yeah.
And some of these fatal crashes, or some of the crashes could not be avoided because we had impaired drivers, or but the fatalities may have been prevented if the passengers had just buckled up. So we're going to send that message as well. We're also going to encourage our community to go out and buy, these breathalyzers that, you can get at the store. $30 can save a life. Yeah, there are a lot of companies out there. I don't want to just
Right.
throw out any name, but yeah, I mean, and you can get them online. You can get them on Amazon. Like if you knew that if you just blew into this little device and it could tell you whether or not you're legal or not, or that could prevent you from being involved in an accident or getting arrested for DUI.
Right.
That could totally save a life.
That's true.
So I really encourage people to do that. I have done it personally myself because I'll go out and I might have a drink or so, and I want to make sure that I'm not a hazard on the roadway.
Right.
And I think everyone should do that. We owe that to our fellow man and woman. We owe that to all the passengers, the other drivers on the road, the pedestrians.
Yes.
It's something simple we can do to save a life. And so we're going to send that message because the truth is I don't want to have to prosecute these folks.
Right.
I want us to be responsible. But if they're irresponsible, I got to do my job.
Right. Right. Is there a flyer or something that
There is, and we will forward that to you.
Okay.
I'll have my communications director, the amazing Denise Roberts.
Yes.
Send that to you so that you can help.
I won't turn the camera.
It's already on you. We got you now.
Wonderful. So,
Yeah, because
we'll
we'll definitely
share
post
that
it.
because I am having a young college student that just got his license not too long ago and is on the road. That just means everything to me. Even if that wasn't an issue, I'm just like, you don't have to drive. Just catch a bus or something.
Take Uber, take Lyft. Like, come on.
I just don't want
so
to behind the
many-
wheel.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is some
Oh, you don't
crazy
want him
stuff where
behind-
I don't
okay,
want him
come on
behind.
now.
I know. I gotta I'm trying, but I mean, I'm so scared for, and there's several things that I'm scared of. I'm scared of, that people aren't paying attention on the roads, and it's so many accidents that almost happen because I look over and somebody's on their phone and their head is down in their lap, and I'm wanting to fuss at them the whole time. I'm just like, get off the phone. But then on top of that, I'm nervous. Sees a young man, the police pulling him over for something simple, but then turns into something else. So there's a lot of fear out there, just in general, because it's just a mess going on out there. So I want to just keep them safe. I know I ain't got no control.
Let go,
Mom.
Mom.
But those are like serious concerns.
But they are.
And especially, I do worry more about my son than my daughter for some reason. But it's because
of reality.
Because
Because of
right.
reality.
Yeah.
We're not going to pretend like things haven't happened. That should give you that concern.
Right.
Absolutely.
So is there anything else that you think in Prince George's County that's a big issue that you would like to tackle going forward?
Yeah, so domestic violence is a huge issue, and I know that October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So we have what we call a Not One campaign against domestic violence, which means we're not going to leave one person behind in this fight because we don't want to lose one more life to domestic violence. So I hope that I can again reach out to you and my new friend Touraine.
Yes, right. You mean a movie?
Yes.
I'm gonna come and get the
to help really spread the word around domestic violence, and it doesn't just affect women. It's not, it's men, and it's children, and so it's a problem of families in our community, and we need to address the total family. And we need to deal with those mental health issues that sometimes leads to domestic situations. And we have to teach people boundaries, what to accept, what they can't accept. So we're working really hard on that. But from my perspective as well, I mean, because we're here for our victims, we need to grow our housing stock for victims of violence so that they have an opportunity to leave their abuser and live with dignity. And I'm not saying shelters aren't dignified, but not everyone's going to qualify for a shelter. We certainly don't have enough beds in our shelters for everyone who needs it. And if someone has a large family or a family with older teenage boys, it's really difficult to find appropriate places for them, even in shelters. And so it's really important that we reach out to the business community, which I'm working on now, and our housing partners and our real estate community to come up with some real solutions to address the housing needs of victims of violence.
That's a good connection right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, make
Because
sure
you
we
with
get
the
that
homeless
information
and-
too.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because we want to,
Keep us in the loop.
networking is going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just feeling the.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Any shout outs y'all want to give before we get off the air? We have about 5 minutes. Somebody you want to say hello to, a birthday, anything?
Yes, you know what? I want to say.
Just say yes.
I want to say happy birthday to my son, Joshua Lynch. Yes.
Happy birthday. What's his name?
Joshua.
Happy birthday, Joshua.
Yes,
And
happy
my
birthday.
grandson that's coming up, Jaden. So I say happy
Well, I was going to mention the glamour because I absolutely understand. I'm about to be a Gigi. I just said I don't want to be grandma. So we had to find a grandma name that was not grandma. So, and I like the glamour, but I was like, I don't know if I'm that glamorous. So let me go with Gigi. So Gigi was kind of cutesy.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
and it
mine
wasn't
is-
grandma.
Yeah, mine is Grandma Nana.
Grandma Nana. So you mixed a little with the Nana.
Yeah, they kind of came up with that, but that works fine. I had 5.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like it.
Yes.
I had 5. And I do want to do a shout out because I'm a PG County Eleanor Roosevelt Raider.
All
So
right.
my Raiders.
Okay.
So let me represent PG County as well.
Okay, I guess we'll do. Okay.
It's 2 against 1.
No, right. Well, that's
No, you
true.
know.
That's true. But that's all right. We can
Which is-
represent.
yes. it's just
No,
a-
this was
just
an
a-
absolute pleasure.
It was very much a
amazing.
And I know
pleasure.
you travel from a long way,
Oh, yeah.
so I'm really happy you were able to join us because
Yes.
that's a long way
I met
out.
some wonderful women today. You know?
Yeah, we
Yes,
did
indeed.
too.
Yes, indeed. We're going to keep the connection.
All
We'll
right.
definitely keep in touch, follow you. We'll be at your pageant.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Make
so
sure you get that crown.
y'all can actually keep in touch with Girls Gabbin.
You can visit us on our website, girlsgabbin.com, on Instagram under Girls Gabbin. We also have our individual pages, as you already know. I got on your nerves. But Lisa Dove Washington and Andrea Riley, you can reach out to us individually. And we are Girls Gabbin on Facebook. We will definitely have all of your information on our page for people to reach out and touch you and let us know of every event, every single event, because we do want to be a part
Definitely
of it.
let you know.
Yeah, because even if we can't make it, we still want
Absolutely.
everybody else who
Absolutely.
can to know. Because I mean, part of it is that a lot of people don't know what's going on.
Absolutely.
And this provides them another platform to be able to know what's going on in Prince George's County and all over the world. And then what the issues are, you know, and what we care about. Because some people out there thinking nobody cares, nobody's doing anything about it. But this proves that there are a lot of things going on.
Being done. And you women are wonderful.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And you all are wonderful.
Oh, well, thank you.
Because, you know, you give us a voice. And
Yeah,
that's so
absolutely.
important. And it used to be that if you didn't own a radio station, you couldn't get your message out.
That's true.
Now we have the ability
Different
to get our message
So many
out on
platforms.
different platforms.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate the fact that you all stepped up to the plate to give
you.
folks like
Thank
us
you.
a
Thank
platform.
Thank you.
So thank you.
So this was good.
It
Thank
sure
you,
was.
lady.
Yes.
Thank you.
So y'all stuck like glue.
Yes.
You can pull, but you can't. So thank you so much, and thank you all for tuning in to Girls
Yes,
Gabbin.
thank you.
We will see you next Sunday with some more
Wonderful
women
women.
for the
Wonderful.
wonderment of the woman. We are really doing things. We rock.
Yes, we do.
So catch
Thank
next
you. Bye.
Bye.
week.
That was so cool. Thank you.